Dr. Vince here from Infinity Bike Seat. My wife just told me a joke, so I'm just full of smiles right now. Wanted to go ahead and talk about step 8. We're talking about your stem length. You've gone ahead and you've gotten yourself lined up from step 7, dealing with step 6, and going ahead and making sure that the plumb line is set up properly, the angle of your leg, your float, the position of your foot, all these steps leading up to this number 8. What happens a lot of times is people go ahead and they feel uncomfortable when they get out on the bike ride after they've gotten the professional fit. A lot of times we're looking at where we're generating power in that seat, but we forget about where our hands and how we're reaching for the handlebars. Sometimes time constraints, sometimes it didn't get covered, maybe the person didn't have the tool at the time or didn't have the replacement part. Or the possibility is that you had that fit 2, 5, 10, maybe even longer, and your biomechanics of your body have changed. So I think about getting a fit is almost like getting your teeth cleaned. Your body is changing. So I talk about at the beginning of each season, do my feet fit the same in my shoes? Does my bike fit me the same way? Did I have any falls, any slips? Did I have any accidents? Did I go ahead and have any serious illnesses in my season off? Did I have any muscle strains? Did I strain a shoulder? Did I go ahead and do anything during off season or repairing from my on season that could go ahead and change my biomechanics of my body? So when we look at the stem length is very important, because a lot of times people go, I feel too stretched out, and the reason being is that the lat muscle that attaches from the lower to the back goes ahead and comes underneath the arm and attaches to the shoulder. So if I feel too stretched out, it will cause me to round my shoulders back versus having that flat back. So when we start looking at it, if things have changed, we want to go ahead and look to see how the body is communicating with the stem choice that we have. So if putting the Infinity seat on and you feel that you're stretched out, the possibility is your stem length could be too long. If you feel now with your Infinity seat, you feel crouched, maybe the possibility is that the stem length needs to be lengthened. So we're going to go ahead and talk about a couple things when looking at choices. As we talked about, sometimes, whoops, we'll have to get that on the way back. So sometimes our old stem might be a straight stem. There's multiple stems that have different variations of degrees of where that stem could go ahead and give us a rise in the angle, which allows the handlebars to come up to make it easier for us as we're riding. If you're an aggressive rider, if you're racing, doing different things, that's where you're going to go ahead and basically have a 90-degree stem, basically a flat stem. As we get a little older, we're having some fun, but we're noticing some pressure in the neck. We might want to go ahead and graduate to a little bit different stem that gives you a little bit more range of motion. If I'm not racing, I'm looking for more comfortable riding, we might need to get different degrees of stems. They even go ahead and make an adjustable stem if you don't really know where you're at, or if you're recovering from an injury, but you know that you're going to be eventually getting back to that, you could go ahead and get an adjustable stem that allows you to go ahead and start a little bit more soft, and it allows you to, as you start healing and progressing, you can go ahead and work yourself down before you go ahead and put your original stem on. But a lot of times, as I said before, people go ahead and adjust their seat to comfort, not to power and endurance, and then they can't understand why they're doing it, why they're going ahead and having to shifting to an easier gear when they hit some resistance, or they have a headwind or they have a crosswind, and they don't understand why they're not generating the power or having the endurance to last with their group. And so these are a couple of the tips that we look at. This is Dr. Vince from Infinity. Talk to you soon.